Welcome, 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 everybody. I am Natan Brahosky, your host with the most today, and I am so excited. Closing off the year, only a couple more sessions left before we take a week off, and you can binge watch all the content from the last couple of weeks. There is so much wonderful, wonderful talks with us one on one here, where I'm going to be coming and presenting with other people that I'm interviewing, and for the next year, getting full already. So if you want to come and share, be interviewed, have some one on one time, give people a bit of your message, and come onto our platform. By all means, I invite you to come reach out to me. I will put my contact in the chat for you, and that way you can for sure join us. And when you do, know that this is part of the Frequency of Abundance group. So here, and it's a fun time, there's a LinkedIn group. Just literally type the Frequency of Abundance, click on groups, and you'll find us. It's a free group. You'll have access to all our content. We have a small paid community. It's tens of dollars a month, and you get access to not only this content, but other courses, work. You get weekly meetings, checkups, accountability. You get monthly group sessions, workshops. So it's so much fun in the sun. So many ways to improve yourself personally and professionally. I invite you to come play and join us. Now, in the scope of where we are, every single day from Allura Creative Agency, we proudly present the Frequency of Abundance Group's daily broadcasts. So we've had, Fearless Fridays, we've got Motivational Mondays. Today, sexy day that it is, we are talking Transformational Tuesdays, Triumphant Tuesdays. Today is Breaking Barriers and Building Bridges. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Now, you'll have contact info here, so you can grab anything that you need on that side. And in the meantime, let me put this up here. Voila, welcome, welcome, welcome. Frequency of Abundance group. And let's start the talk. Let's see if today we can break some barriers, build some bridges. I've got my good morning special breakfast tea. It's Greek Mountain, so if you ever wondered, I had a bunch of people requesting, what the heck are you drinking? I'm like, it's Greek Mountain tea. It's clean, it's light, there's no lemon or sugar or anything in it. It's just ever so slightly flavoring of the hot water. It's wonderful. It's a great way to start the day. So, in that spirit of Transformational Tuesdays, breaking barriers, building bridges, let's begin. Let's start with breaking barriers. I would think before we start building some bridges, let's break some barriers. So number one, identify the barrier. Let's be clear about what it is that's holding you back. Let's look at it. Is it fear? Is it self-doubt? Is it an external challenge? Something on your health, a situation that's outside your control. Be clear on what is holding you back. So identify the barrier. Now, naming it and naming that obstacle is usually the first step in overcoming it. So, if people are part of a 12-step program, the first thing they do is admit that they're in a situation outside of their own control and need help, external help. And so they name whatever it is that's afflicting them and their affliction. And by doing that, they sometimes realize that naming it is the first step to controlling it, owning it, and having power over it. That's why you have to be so clear about what's holding you back. Is it fear? Is it self-doubt? Is it something external? And then name it. Get your power over it. Now, let's also pretend that, in this beautiful world that we get to do anything that we want to do, let's also adopt a growth mindset. So let's be clear that barriers are mostly mental. Really, like most often, it's a mental barrier. When you look at the highest level of sports, and I was blessed enough to be able to play there for many years, they all say that it's 90% mental and only 10% physical. I'm like, sure, because you've spent 90% of your time training your physical body to have muscle memory, to do things on reflex and respond almost autonomously to different stimuli. And once you know it and believe it and train it and trust it and have proved it to yourself time and time again, then you truly believe in it. That's when you're going, okay, so I know this about myself and I believe that's true. Now you can sit back on the mental and go, all right, I trust my body. I know it's going to do what it needs to do. My training is done. Where do I want to grow, expand? Where do I want to elaborate? Where do I want to tighten up? Where do I want to refine? And those are questions you only get to ask once the basics are set, once the body's doing what you told it to do. That's when we come to those. So that's why when you say barriers are often mental, in the beginning, because it's a lack of belief that you won't even try. And at the end, after you've proved to yourself that you absolutely can do it, and yet here you are doubting and questioning still, that's why they're often mental, the barriers. So embrace your mistakes. They're going to be the best learning opportunities for you. You're going to stay open to new ways of thinking that way. And it's supposed to be a beautiful feeling. It's not a negative thing. Like you came up with an idea, you tried. If you were right, pat on the back. If you were wrong, learn. Write notes and go, okay, why was that wrong? Why did that not work? Ah, great. I'll remember that for next time. That's all. These are educational moments. You can make them edutainment so that they're educational and entertaining. There's no need to be serious and studious. You can have some fun with this too. You're growing, you're learning, you're exploring, you're expanding yourself. So if in the process this helps you personally, or if you're a coach, a healer, a therapist, and you want to use some of these techniques to help your clients, by all means. I'm coming to you from a place of love and being able to share. And I'm blessed enough to be not just the host of the Frequency of Abundance group, but somebody who stands in a frequency of abundance, personally and professionally. So I'm built in that glass is half full kind of a way. I don't like the negative side. I'm a very positive person, and I will, because of that, have trained myself to see the positive. And so I will automatically pull that knee-jerk muscle when a situation presents itself. I'll see the silver lining. Other people may see the dark cloud. And that's okay. We need both sides, otherwise it's going to be, unbalanced and unbiased. So if you want, pop into the chat, share some love, ask a question, give a topic, conversation for any future topic. See if you want to come in and join us, and we'd love to have you on the show and be a part of our life. If you don't know who I am, I've spent the last 30 years working with Olympians, Cirque du Soleil acrobats, national sports teams, people at the highest level of peak performance. About 15,000 of them have come through my hands. Wrote a couple best-selling books on energy management. And when I came online at the start of the pandemic, I wanted to work with other coaches, healers, therapists, specialists. I wanted to work with other agency owners. I wanted to co-brand. I wanted to white label. I wanted to play at that level where we can all collectively share experiences. I wanted to shine a light on the coaches, the healers, the therapists, the specialists, so they can get their message out to even more people. And that's exactly what we do at Allura. It's an invitation-only private community. It's an event production and promotion house. And it's also a not-for-profit. So we handpick the people we work with. If it makes sense to you to speak to a larger audience, reach out to me. My contact info is in the chat. I'd love to say hi. And in the meantime, I'd love to see, once we finish going through some of these breaking barriers, what your comments and feedback is. So number one, we talked about identifying the barrier, being clear, what's holding you back, and naming it. Number two, we're talking about adopting a growth mindset. We've talked about how barriers are often mental, and embracing those mistakes as learning opportunities is going to keep you staying open to new ways of thinking. So now let's take small, brave steps. You don't have to tackle a challenge all at once. Like what's the best way to eat an elephant? Bite by bite. So small, consistent actions are going to be the most powerful thing you have. And it's like a drop of water, It doesn't seem like much, but eventually it can erode a stone. These small, consistent actions can erode even the toughest walls. And that's what will break down your barriers internally, or if you're working with somebody as a therapist, their barriers. These small, consistent actions can erode even the toughest walls. And that's why you don't have to tackle the challenge all at once. So take small, brave steps. And let's not forget about leveraging community. That's a big one. We talk about it in a lot of these conversations where barriers are going to be easier to break when you have support. You want to seek out those mentors, the allies, like-minded individuals, because they're going to be instrumental in the next part, which is celebrate wins. And we've talked about that as well. And it's weird to just sit there and do a little jiggity dance and celebrate by yourself. It's a beautiful expression of love to you and the universe, and you absolutely should delight and dance for no one else but yourself. Dance as if no one's watching, and then dance as if everyone's watching, and have some fun. What I'm saying is celebrate all those as well, and then know that it's going to be even more so when people who care about you, allies, mentors, like-minded individuals, when they hear about that, they celebrate with you. And when you are celebrating something for you, about you, and there's others that are celebrating you, oh my goodness, it's quite the celebration. It's a party, and it's even more jubilation. So I invite you to get happy about your goals. Find other people who also get happy when you succeed, and treasure and cherish them, because that's how the tide raises all boats. So, acknowledging every milestone, no matter how small, because progress is progress, and progress equals happiness. And once in a while, you don't remember how far you've come. Look behind you and go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I came that far. It's pretty spectacular. So, from the top, identify the barrier, adopt a growth mindset, take small, brave steps. Let's leverage our community, and let's celebrate the wins, small and otherwise. Let's also now shift gears. Let's take a look at building bridges. So, if you're coming from, okay, we've torn down the walls, we've demolitioned all of the past, we've completely broken the barriers. Wonderful. How do we build a bridge now? Step one, empathy is key. You got to seek to understand others' perspective. So, real connections, those are only going to start when we listen without judgment. When we're not waiting for our turn to speak, when we're not analyzing what they're saying and comparing that to our mental construct of what we think they are, who they should be, or what they should say. If you want to truly build that bridge, empathy is key. I remember somebody asking me, well, what's the difference between empathy and sympathy? And I had a great mentor explain it to me once in another life. And they said, if you're on a cruise ship and you come out to the deck and somebody's hanging on the edge there and they're just nauseous as heck and just feeling like they're going to oof all over the balcony. If you come over and you join them in that feeling and you also feel nauseous, that's sympathy. If you see where they're at, acknowledge it and go, oh my goodness, go and get them a glass of water to come back and help, that's empathy. You don't need to feel what they're feeling in order to help them. So empathy is key. Seek to understand others' perspectives, why they think that way. What's the intention behind the why of the action? And that's where your real connections are going to start. You're going to start to listen without any judgment. And it's neat. You'll be open to new things. You'll hear new things. And it'll come across in a very broad way to help open up your new ways of thinking. So we're going to build a bridge. We're going to use empathy. We're going to truly listen without judgment. But we also need to be very clear and start on common ground, right? It's the easiest way to make sure this works. So focus on what are shared goods, values, goals. Get to establish a strong foundation for collaboration. Let's say you wanted to work with somebody in a strategic partnership way. Start with common ground. Hey, we both are thinking this and feeling this, and we both play in this sandbox. Yeah, maybe we should combine forces. Shared values, shared goals. If you focus on those at the beginning, they help you establish that strong foundation for collaboration. Let's look at another way to really open yourself up. Be vulnerable. Authenticity is going to build trust. So share your story to inspire others. Invite them to do the same. Be inspired by others as much as they're inspired by you. There was a great expression that a mentor told me, that he said, if you want to be good, you got to give. But if you want to be great, you need to learn to receive. And it's so powerful. You start doing some good and helping and healing and send that boomerang out in the world. You forget about it. Meanwhile, it's doing its rounds, and when it comes back to you, you're like, oh my goodness, and it surprises you because it's coming back, and it's coming back with momentum because it picked up beautiful things because you put those out into the universe. And it's coming back with blessings. And if you get shy right now and go, no, I don't deserve this. No, I'm not worthy. No, not for me. This isn't that time. You will always stay at that vibrational sphere of abundance that you're at unless you allow yourself to elevate up. We talked in another episode about ways to do that, putting yourself in direct alignment as if you're in that blessed new place, that blessed new state right now. And allowing yourself to vibrate in that frequency as if you've achieved that goal is how the universe acknowledges that you're ready to handle that, and thus it makes it happen. Don't worry about the why. If you knew why, you do it. Don't worry about the how. If you knew how, you do it. Your goal is to just be emulating the joy at that new frequency of abundance. Can't do that if you're not going to be vulnerable. So, authenticity builds that trust. Share your story, invite others to share theirs. And let's focus on really leading with gratitude, right? Like we've talked about servant leaders. It means something different to everyone. If we lead with gratitude, I want to express appreciation because that's going to foster goodwill and it's going to strengthen relationships. It's very different when I lead with gratitude compared to leading with anything else. When you start with the first thing is a thank you to the people already there, it's hard to not like somebody that likes you. It's hard to not like somebody that's nice to you. It's just hard, right? So you're making it hard on them not to be just, oh my goodness, smitten with you. And that's what we want. We want to delight, engage, and just tickle pink our audience. Now, leading with that gratitude, it's the best way to express appreciation, and that's going to foster the goodwill and strengthen those relationships very quickly. It's awesome. Those expressions like, oh, I feel like I've known that person for years and stuff, that's because of that. And I think lastly on this point, you have to give an opening to yourself and to the universe to say that I'm okay with this, right? Like the point would be let's try this in English. Be a bridge builder. Actively look for these opportunities to connect people, to connect ideas, or to connect communities that can thrive together. They don't have to have any benefit or value to you personally. There doesn't have to be a selfish, self-serving, what's in it for me, or a monetary gain. But if you leave yourself looking for these opportunities, and it's opportunities not for you, it's opportunities for you to play middleman, to connect people, to connect ideas, to connect communities, you're going to be looked at as an incredibly valuable person. And it will reciprocate. And then some. So let's go up a bit and really back. If we're going and raising our elevation up, first thing we do is we look down and we see what a mess. Okay. Let's break some barriers. Let's clean this up. Complete demolishing. We identify the barrier. We're clear about what's holding us back and we name it. We take power. We adopt a growth mindset. We know the barriers are mostly mental, and we embrace learning through mistakes as opportunities. And we stay open to new ways of thinking. We take small, brave steps, so we don't tackle challenges all at once, but it's these small, consistent actions that are going to erode the toughest walls. We leverage community in that beautiful tide raises all boats feeling, as all of these barriers are a lot easier to break down once you have that support. So get those mentors, get those allies, get that like-minded individual, because the next point, celebrate your wins. They're the ones that are really going to help take that to a whole new level of just not you dancing happily in your kitchen, but you dancing euphorically with true jubilation in your heart as just unending joy. And for others to share in that only increases your joy. So it's an incredible feeling. Celebrate your wins. Acknowledge every milestone. Really, no matter how small. Progress is progress, and progress equals happiness. Now that we've cleaned it all up, let's take a look at, now we're going to build some bridges. We're going to need people with that. We're going to need communities. We're going to need to think of others. So step one is empathy. Empathy is key. And seeking to understand others from their perspective. Really connect. And that's when we can start listening without the judgment. That'll be critical. So you want to start with common ground, especially in the beginnings, and you focus on those shared values. What are goals? How do you establish that strong foundation for collaboration? You want to be vulnerable. You want to build that authenticity through trust. And it does that immediately. So share your story, invite others to share theirs. When you're coming into that situation, lead with gratitude. And express appreciation for that other entity. It's going to foster goodwill and strengthen relationships very quickly for you. And lastly, be a build bridger. Oh boy, let's try this without the dyslexia. Be a bridge builder. There we go. Actively start looking for those opportunities, not for yourself, but to connect others, people, ideas, communities. See who can thrive together and just be the spark that connects them and watch what happens. Barriers are meant to be broken, not to stop us, you know? So you can't build that bridge by itself. It needs effort, intention, trust. You don't always have to see the whole staircase and when it ends. Just take that first step. Don't wait till all the lights turn green before you leave your house. It's very hard to coordinate 14 green lights between you and your destination, all to synchronize and hold long enough for you to get there. So in the spirit of that, let's give you some actionable challenges for today. Let's do two things. Obviously, as the title says, let's break a barrier and let's build a bridge. Now, thank you. We've got some comments. Let me pop in and read some of those. Put that up on the overlay so everyone can take a sneak peek. Thank you. Yes, our mind is powerful. Using the placebo effect to positively affect our mindset. Believe it first. Absolutely. Works great in every direction. It's very powerful. Yep, clear thinking and visualization. Awesome. Joy is a verb. Be, feel, emanate gratitude. I love that. How wonderful. Joy is absolutely a verb. I agree. I think that's beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us. If you want to hear any other topics coming up, let us know. If you want to be interviewed and come and be on our show, let us know. If you want to have access and have other people get connected, go to one-of-a-kind events that we put on. Leadership Roundtable Series, symposiums, health, wealth, prosperity forums, financial fireside chat, heck, tequila and tech talks. We have so many different events. It's wonderful. If you want to know, if you want to come join us, reach out. Come. There's no cost to attend. We'll love to have you there. And it's a beautiful, warm, safe place. So I invite you to come over to our group, and I'll make sure I put that in the chat. Give me one sec. And here, there's our LinkedIn group. And of course, you can just type LinkedIn and search for the Frequency of Abundance, and that'll be us. Now, where I wanted to bring us to, just the last two parts for today. Break a barrier, build a bridge. So, break a barrier. Identify one thing you've been avoiding and commit to taking one small action toward it today. If you've been putting off, doing an email or an errand, or maybe you have some returns on Amazon you need to do, whatever it is, identify one thing you've been avoiding and commit to taking one small action towards it today. It may not be check mark, I did it, but it may be, I got closer down the road. I moved it forward. Remember, progress is progress. That's break a barrier. Build a bridge. Reach out to someone you've been meaning to connect with. Whether it's mending a rift, something in the past you feel bad about that you don't want looming over you, or if it's collaborating on a new idea that you're just so excited and stoked, reach out to someone you've been meaning to connect with or reconnect with. And build a bridge. Using the points we talked about, build that bridge. Using the points we talked about, break that barrier. Take those small actionable items today. Know that it'll absolutely bring you all the joy. Joy is a verb, and all the happiness it can do. And in that context, if anything I can do to help, please reach out to me. You have my contact info in the chat. I'd love to have a one-on-one with you and see where we can bring your messaging and how we can big up and shine and spotlight you to the rest of the world as well. I'm Natan. Be excited. There are a couple more days coming. Tomorrow will be Wellness Wednesday, nurturing a healthy mind and body. Then we've got Thoughtful Thursday, reflections on progress and growth. We're going to celebrate some Fearless Friday, taking the leap, courage and action. And then a successful Saturday will be turning challenges into triumphs. We're going to have one more on the final of the month and the day and the week and all of that. That'll be on Sunday, and I'm keeping it open so we can all talk about it, pop in, share some stories and some insights for the end of the year. And then for the last week off, from the 22nd to the 1st, I will be giving all of these available so that you can binge watch as many episodes as you want, ready to go. They'll be re-streamed and broadcast twice a day. So have some fun. Join us. Join us in our private community. Go to LinkedIn, type it in. Join us in our paid community. Really involve yourself. Elevate yourself. I'm Natan. Pleasure to be